Now that all the painting is done, we can begin with the installation of the roof. The first step is going to be to install our drip edge. We've got 5 pieces. Each piece is 10 feet long, and we're going to get this installed. The purpose of the drip edge is to keep water from dripping from the roof onto the fascia board. It will basically be covered by the gutter once the gutter is installed. I recently read somewhere that the code for the fold over on drip edge is 3 inches. I can do that. There seems to be a little bit of controversy on the internet as to whether the drip edge belongs below or above the underlayment. After hearing both sides of the story, it makes more sense to me to have the drip edge under the underlayment. So that's what I'm doing. When putting up the second piece of flashing, I made sure I had about a 2-inch overlap. And what I needed to do was trim off the hem on the bottom edge so that it would lay flat against the previous piece. A little trick I picked up along the way was to put your nails in only halfway. That'll hold the drip edge in place. Then you can remove the protective film and then drive the nails home. This last piece of flashing required a 3-inch fold on the corner as well. We've got the first 3 sheets of metal up on the roof, and we've done a temporary layout, and Yvonne is now putting down some butyl tape on the overlap. So after Yvonne gets the butyl tape on, we're going to make sure of the placement. I'm going to tack it down with some of the screws, and then we are going to place our second panel. We're going to tack these panels down, and then I'll come back and do a complete screw down all at once. It's about 12:30, and the wind is supposed to be picking up a little bit pretty soon, so we want to get these 3 panels at least tacked down. Before the wind picks up, I want to fill you in what's happening. Our panels are 29 feet 2 inches long. Our trusses, including the overhang, were supposed to be 29 feet. After the trusses were installed, I went along and trimmed the tails, and I took 4 inches off of this side, and I took 2.5 to 3 inches off of this side, and that was so that they would be nice and straight. We came up here and we put our 29-foot 2-inch metal panels up, and we fell that much short. That's about 5 inches. And here's what I learned. I learned that when trusses are made, you give the overhang that you want, but that's not the overhang you're going to get. The overhang you're going to get is going to be what you want, plus as much as they feel as though is necessary or whatever's convenient for them. For example, these 29-foot trusses were made 30 feet long, including the overhang. And of course, I didn't measure it. So we get up here with the first panel, and I lay it down, and I see that we're 5 inches short. I quick got on the phone with the truss supplier, Southwest Truss, spoke to my representative, who is Jim, And he explained to me that, usually framing contractors and framing crews will just put the trusses up, snap a line, and trim the tails. And that's what I did too. But I did it assuming that the length of the truss plus the overhang was going to be what I ordered and not more. He was very cool about it, explained the situation. I told him what needed to be done, and he said, do what you got to do, and we'll make it right. So I contacted Thunder Mountain Metal Sales and asked them what the prescribed overlap would be. And they said an overlap on a pitch of 112, you should really plan on a 24-inch overlap. So I've got 15 pieces of 3-foot length metal in this same color that were ordered, and they'll be ready in a couple days. And those will then go from the high side and have a 2.5-foot overlap. Total cost, extra cost, $175. Jim over at Southwest Truss said no problem, and they already cut me a check and already sent it out. So great customer service, and learn from my mistake and realize that although you're ordering trusses with a prescribed overhang, double check it because you might be getting more overhang than you planned on. Okay, the wind is starting to pick up, and we've got the first 3 panels down. Just secured it temporarily with some tacks on the corners so they don't blow away in the wind. And we're going to continue tomorrow morning. The wind is always a lot less in the morning. So we'll get up here and we'll try to get 3 or 4 more sheets up tomorrow. So let me show you our system, and you'll see us doing it tomorrow, but I'm going to show you what we kind of jerry-rigged together. When I helped Derek get his metal roof up onto the top of his house, he had set up a couple boards like this. Now he had 4 boards, and we used rope and pulled it up sideways. And what Yvonne and I are doing is we're bringing the panel and we're standing it up onto these tracks or runners and then pushing it up as far as we can. And then I get up on the roof and I can pull it up onto the roof. It took us 2 or 3 tries to figure out what we needed to do. And this is the best system we've got thus far. After thinking about how difficult it was to get those first sheets up on the roof, we decided to move the 2 skids further apart and replicate the Derek Handyman Howlett system, and it proved to be the right move. Thank you, Handyman! Okay, we've got 4 panels up here. Now we're going to start laying them out. I went to Walmart this morning and bought some $5 knee pads, and they really grip these metal panels, which are otherwise pretty slippery, even on a 212 pitch. What I'm doing is I'm putting a 2-inch mark on both sides so we know where the overhang should be. Once we were happy with the placement of the sheet, it was just a question then of making sure that the butyl tape had secure contact and then to tack down the corners. One thing we learned during this process was that the butyl tape became more difficult to work with the warmer it got. So it took quite a bit of patience, which is why Yvonne was doing this and not me. I'm going to show this next panel being placed in real time. I want to let you know that it really requires some patience and communications to get this placed correctly. Little bit of wind. That's hard to get over, huh? Uh-huh. Let's angle it toward us, Sleeping. Look it, just let it drop down just a little bit. Toward you, no, pull it toward you. There you go, like that. Okay, now you let me know what you need. What?
There we go.
Right there? Let's get it closer. Okay, yeah, we're close. Now you still look good?
Yeah.
I'm not dropping it until you say yes.
Oh, look. Okay, come in a little bit towards you.
Toward me?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Leave it. Okay.
With just the slightest headwind, it made it really difficult to get that panel placed down correctly. But we got it done. Then we had to tweak the overlap just a little bit to get it in its perfect position. Here I'm just using a 2x4 as a straight edge so that the screws along the edge of the panel are relatively straight. How many panels did we get up today, Yvonne?
7.
How many do we have up total?
10.
How many more do we have to go?
5.
Excellent. Your math skills are fabulous.
Yeah. What else?
Wrap it up.
Okay, that's it for today. We continue tomorrow, and yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. We have 5 more sheets to put up. With our 2-inch overhang, if we were to put the ladder directly up onto the roof, we would take the chance of actually bending the metal panel. So what I did was I took a piece of 4x6 and I screwed it to a piece of 2x4, and then that 2x4 is tacked into our fascia board, and that's keeping the ladder off of the edge of the metal roof. When a skilled neighbor shows up unannounced and is ready to work, I've got work for him. This is Doug, our neighbor, and he came by and helped us finish up the roof today. So what Doug is doing is using a 4-inch angle grinder, and we're trimming the final piece to fit along the edge. Okay, our neighbor Doug is back at it, helping us out today. Doug, thanks for coming by.
Right, thank you.
And we are about to put up the very last piece. Now, we had a little difficulty. As I mentioned before, our roof is a little out of square, so we did have to trim this last piece using an angle grinder, but we should be able to drop this in right now. Yvonne's got the butyl tape put on the overlap seam, and we're going to drop this in place. Okay, guys, that's it. We've got the panels installed. Yvonne is doing a quick sweep up. This residue left from the angle grinder and also from a metal saw we had up here turns this metal roof into an ice rink. It's crazy slippery, so Yvonne is being careful and she's sweeping it off so that we don't have any accidents up here. The next task is to take this package, open it up, and it's got the 3-foot panels in it that we're going to use here on the gable edge. And what we're going to have to do is take these couple of screws that I put in, and we're going to remove those, and we're going to take these 3-foot pieces, start flush with the edge of the sheathing, and run it 3 feet down. And we'll overlap that just in the same pattern that we did for the rest of the panels. Once that's in place, we'll be able to begin with all of our flashing. The rake flashing and then the gable flashing, and then we'll be able to call this roof done. Now, there is a lot of screwing down to do still, and the pattern for screwing it down is going to be every 24 inches. So we'll start here at the low end. We'll measure up 24 inches, snap a line, 24, snap a line, and so on and so forth. So we figure there's going to be about 12 or 13 rows of screws going the entire length. According to the engineer, that should give this roof a 90-mile-an-hour wind resistance. So that sounds good to us. We've had some high winds, but not 90 miles an hour. That's it, guys. We're going to call this a wrap. Thanks very much for watching. Yvonne?
Thank you.
If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button on your way out, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. It'll really help out the channel. We appreciate all your support. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in the next video.